Okay, we're in a crazy situation where Fanatec is clearly, I would say, both the most loved and hated brand in sim racing at the same time. And that clearly doesn't make sense. Not everyone can be right. No one's talking about this. So I'm here with Sam, aka Walmid. We both bought a lot of Fanatec sim racing equipment over the time, over the years.
Yeah.
Also been reviewing a lot of stuff and reviewing a lot of competitor stuff. So we're going to go into why Fanatec should be loved or it should be hated, and hopefully you're going to find it helpful. Obviously, we want to hear your thoughts in the comments. So the first reason, Sam, I'm going to say why Fanatec is loved is because, like us, a lot of people have bought Fanatec equipment and we feel that affinity with the brand. It was one of the most popular sim racing brands, like 5 years ago.
Yeah, probably not even as far as 5 years ago. It was, if anyone, you spoke to anyone about sim racing, they had a Fanatec or they've used a Fanatec at some point.
Yeah.
And I think that still stands rightly so now. Most people you speak to about sim racing have used a Fanatec at some point in the sim racing journey.
Which is crazy when you think Logitech and THRUSTMASTER are massive companies. Fanatec never really was a massive company.
Yeah.
I tried to be, or now it's part of Corsair. But yeah, it's that upgrade path. And if you didn't have a Fanatec, there was something about aspiration, like I want a Fanatec.
Yeah.
So when you got it, it was exciting. We both got our wheels that we bought here. Like I bought this wheel and I used it for years and years and years.
Same with this. This
bought
is
the
my
Formula.
one. And then we both use V3s as well.
Yeah, the V3 pedal's absolutely fantastic. So I get it. We've got some comments here, by the way. So whenever you comment on the channels, we might put it into the video. So it's a really good opportunity for you to get your points across. Scott saying my DD1 has been an absolute workhorse with countless hours of use for over 5 years now. I've never had a single issue. So there are going to be people out there who haven't had issues.
100%.
As we get on to, there are going to be people who've had loads of issues. I'm saying DD1, been using it for 4 years, not a single issue, solid product. So if you've had a good experience like that, Harry Dessy saying all my Fanatec products being solid, you're not going to want to go elsewhere.
And
why would
I'll
you?
be completely honest. When I had all my Fanatec, when I was full Fanatec from top to bottom, I never had any issues at all. None of them at all ever had a problem with me. For me.
If you maintain them, like you re-grease
Yeah,
them,
I re-greased the brake when needed to, give it a clean down. I never had to take apart a rim at all, which was nice.
Yeah.
But honestly, like the top comment said, it was an absolute workhorse. Just did everything I ever wanted for it to do, and the pedals are still doing it now.
But there's people watching us right now who are shouting at the screen because it's unquestionable something went horrendously wrong at Fanatec when it came to quality of products and therefore the customer service experience. And, I went over to Fanatec to interview their CEO and see how they were doing things. And there was a recognition that things weren't working well. So for all of these loyal customers who have every reason to love Fanatec, for every customer who had a bad experience, and I've got some of your comments here and it was insane and you all email me all the time, but 2024, it was crazy. 2023, I think even it was crazy. You're not going to want to buy Fanatec, and you're going to tell all of your mates, don't buy Fanatec.
Exactly, and there's two sides to every story, isn't there? All the way. And to be fair, with the past year, 2 years maybe, of what's going on with Fanatec, you can understand people getting a bit questionable about it and not fully understanding what's going on.
So we've got some of your comments here. Lindsay saying, one of the worst companies I've ever dealt with, new gear failure, took 12 months of emails to get it sorted. DT saying, just finished getting a warranty part with Fanatec, 2 months for some simple bushes, very slow to responding, want to jump through a heap of hoops. We all know people who've had these issues with Fanatec.
Yeah.
William Bill Money saying a 3-year warranty means zilch. If you spend a few thousand on Fanatec equipment, then you're down for 3 months attempting to even get a reply of customer service. And Corsair, who've bought Fanatec, will admit it that the customer service timelines were just not good enough. They certainly weren't up to Corsair standards.
Yes.
So I think that is a legitimate reason for anyone to be like, I'm just not going to buy Fanatec again. That's a big problem for the brand.
Mm-hmm. It certainly is. And it'd be nice to see if the team up with Corsair buying them out, how much that does change like the consumer's view on it. But you don't want to spend so much money on a item like this to then have it disappear for a few months while you're waiting for it to repair. It's
super interesting thinking about our first point, like that brand loyalty. Like you think of the Fanatec logo, but with Corsair now running things behind the scenes, Corsair I know are really hot on customer service. Like that's a big thing for Corsair. Yeah. But are there going to be people that actually would buy a Corsair branded base, but they won't buy a Fanatec branded base? It's kind of interesting. But let's go on to another reason why people love it. This is one of the reasons why we were both buying Fanatec, which is that you can give it a potential shot at being the undisputed king of consoles, Xbox and PlayStation.
Yes.
Plenty of peripherals that are going to work across both. Xbox,
PlayStation.
the base is PlayStation. These work on these one could work on both the pedals. So given the growth of, let's say, GT Sports, also people on Forza. So the more PlayStation...
I mean, when GT Sport came in, obviously, over the COVID time, that just exploded everything in the whole sim racing world. And Fanatec did keep up. They had a great range to literally cover everything.
Right place, right time.
Exactly.
And, back then, Gran Turismo World Series was sponsored by THRUSTMASTER. Fanatec now sponsor it, and you can see why. That's such a close relationship. Like, if you're on Gran Turismo...
Well, think how many branded products there are from Fanatec now.
Yeah, plenty.
Shows how close the relationship is.
Yeah, DD and the DD Extreme and the Gran Turismo Rim. But what you guys were saying, Pablo Verde, when are you doing Fanatec GT DD Pro versus T598? I'm waiting for your video to decide what to buy. So you're asking me which is the king of console. The T598 is limited in power. Like if you want console and Thrustmaster, you can't get above that 5, or it overshoots to 10. Whereas on the Fanatec, you can go all the way up to 15, I think. So absolutely crazy. Also, Sergey asking me, is it the Fanatec? Is Logitech G Pro that's the best? So Fanatec is always in the question. You're not going to buy a T598 unless you've checked out the Fanatec equivalent, and same with Logitech. So the fact it's always in the conversation, I think, is still...
and I think that goes back to what we said earlier about everyone in their sim racing journey has used the Fanatec thing. So it's one of the things which always, I'm looking for gear, I'm looking at Logitech, looked at Thrustmaster, looked at Fanatec. It's always there.
Yeah.
But I think personally for me, it is probably one of the undisputed kings of consoles.
But the counterpoint to that is you pay more for the PlayStation licensed stuff. And when people say, well, should I get a T598? It is super competitive, 449 with that direct drive. I think Fanatec, the PC stuff actually is competitive. The price on the McLaren's always been competitive. The price on the entry-level DD on PC is really competitive. But when you get onto the PS licensed stuff, for example, like even this, I'm not sure this is an official PS product, although it is the VGT wheel, but it's a base that makes it compatible. But when you get into the licensed things, it starts to get expensive. Yeah. Like, this wheel is around the same price as a Conspit 300 GT, but the Conspit 300 GT has a screen. It has better rotaries and encoders. It has buttons on the back. It has clutch paddles. It has the multi-dial system.
And I know someone will probably mention it in your comments. We are aware it's got a screen in it.
Yeah, yes,
we are fully aware.
It does have an OLED screen, but it's not the same screen. But years ago, this is in many ways a great product. Like, it looks really good. You can see there's been really high attention to detail. It's really stylish. I like the stylish rims.
Yeah.
However, it didn't have to compete against the Conspit 300 GT a few years ago. That might even be looking behind us, one of them, where you can see these wheels up there. So, this is what you've been saying as well in the comments. Arthur saying Fanatec need to drop prices for their gear to stay competitive. Moser and Thrustmaster offering more for less.
I mean, the pricing on Moser is so exceptional.
Moser came in before Fanatec had all the issues. Moser were already there. So when Fanatec had the issues,
it just boosted Moser
exactly.
even higher.
It just rocketed them up because Moser were coming in and just basically under the wheelbase. They have a similar style, was undercutting them. Friendigo saying Fanatec raised their prices. Their tech is old now, and it's just not good money to value. So Fanatec has this perception of being a premium price, and then it's like, well, do you value that? Do you brand loyal, or actually, are you tarnished by the customer service?
Yeah,
and that's really interesting. But another reason to love Fanatec, and by the way, just let us know in the comments whether you love or hate Fanatec. Here is just the best place where you can actually share your opinion on this. Is the ecosystem, the upgrade path, like starting on CSL pedals, aspiring for the V3s.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice when you
had a clear end point.
Yeah.
At the time.
Starting on a cheap rim like this and thinking, one day maybe I'll get the BMW GT4. And Fanatec, I think, were the first sim racing company to have an ecosystem, actually. Yeah. And that actually probably contributed to some of the issues with customer service, because that ecosystem means they ship stuff in loads of different boxes. Even the QR will come in a different box. So that's more chances of a box getting delayed or having an issue.
See, the thing which gets me thinking is, did Fanatec all of a sudden become too big for themselves? They expanded quicker than, like, they sold more stuff quicker than they could expand.
Yeah, and they had so many different products and everything.
Exactly.
Doing consumer service on that and troubleshooting it.
And obviously it was during COVID times as well, so a lot of people are at home spending more time on consoles.
I mean, if you're looking in COVID, looking at buying a wheel, the Fanatec website was insane. You had like so many different wheels, but they were struggling to actually just ship them out or repair them. You've been saying it as well in the comments. Mitt's saying, I already got a GT DD Pro and upgraded to a shifter and handbrake last week. So like that's the classic upgrade path if you like it. Not Ready saying Fanatec customer since Club Sport 1 pedals and GT2 wheel for Xbox 360. Now countless wheelbases, wheels and 3 sets of various Club Sport pedals.
Getting their money's worth.
Yeah, so people going for the upgrade. And yeah, they deserve credit there for that ecosystem. The fact that THRUSTMASTER has an ecosystem now and Logitech has an ecosystem, they actually owe it. We owe it all to Fanatec and to
They were
Thomas,
the pioneers of it, really.
Yeah,
the pioneers, really, and it's made THRUSTMASTER and Logitech actually rethink what they were doing to keep up with Fanatec.
But I know we're also again going to have loads of people who are going to be shouting at us because you're going to be saying, "Where's the Fanatec wheel with a proper screen? You know, where are the podium pedals? Are Fanatec going to do active pedals? Are Fanatec going to do hydraulics?" So they have this ecosystem, but it seems like in some areas they're not offering the products that people want. Look at what Moses come out with.
I mean, for me, it's going to sound really weird here, and bear with me when I say this. It's like they've got to a point. They're like, right, we've nailed a little screen, we've nailed the button placements, we've nailed magnetic shifters. Let's not push it any further. This is where we are. We know we can do this. We know we can do it well. Let's not push the boat and try and get anything more fancy.
It does feel at the moment, and maybe this might be a Corsair thing, is like, let's get the ship under control. Like, let's not come out with some crazy product that might have an issue, and then that's going to be really bad for our brand. Let's understand our portfolio and probably slim it down. Like
maybe.
So Brother Nature saying, buying Fanatec in 2025 is ridiculous. Pedals not competitive, QR too expensive, and the QR situation is a whole other video, literally.
How many
QRs we got on this desk?
Three different QRs on this desk.
And you just wouldn't. That's intimidating. That's the same as this one.
That's the same as that one.
You just wouldn't know, like, which of these work on this base.
Yeah.
I have literally made a whole video on this where I went to buy a Fanatec QR and I just recorded the process because I was like, I am an expert in sim racing, and I am confused. So I don't know how anyone is meant to buy a gift for someone else.
Yeah.
I got a load of comments, people saying, "Oh, if you're buying Fanatec equipment, you should know this." But I'm like, yeah, what if you want to buy a present for someone, and therefore you shouldn't need to know? You just know that your friend or someone is really into sim racing. You're going to mess it up.
And they've got a Fanatec wheelbase.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you want to gift them a wheel.
Yeah, that wheel. I've seen one of my friends is selling this wheel for £100 or whatever it is.
The chances of messing it up are literally 100%. Like, you will mess it up. OZ saying, now they want me to spend $400 Australian on the QR2 before I can even consider a new wheel. Not going to happen. I will turn my money to Moser. So again, there's two different ways of looking at it, and this is why Fanatec is like the most hated and the most loved brand at the same time.
I get both points as well a lot of the time.
Yeah,
I fully get both points.
So let's talk about another reason to love Fanatec, which is that they always have this hype. They always have this idea that they're going to be coming out with something, like the Bentley wheel for a long time. The Bentley wheel is going to be insane. Now people are talking about the podium pedals. The podium pedals are going to be insane. So you just don't know what Fanatec's going to do next.
And I mean, it happens on some of the live streams we do as well. People asking, what's the next Fanatec thing?
Yeah.
And that's legitimately, people have asked that on the live streams, what's the next Fanatec thing coming out?
Yeah. So that's the Fanatec factor, I'd say. You don't know. You look at Logitech, you know, completely different model at the direct drive thing, which is like, we're going to do a product and we're going to leave it for 2 years. And then 2 years later, we'll do a slight thing, and then we'll probably just leave it for 2 years. Whereas from COVID times, just Fanatec, the amount of products they're launching,
they're a pioneer in it.
Yeah, so we expect that from Fanatec. The question is, have they now made the decision to kind of like, let's consolidate or not? But there's always this thought with Fanatec, with the connections they have, with the licenses they have. I mean, who knew that we were going to get the Porsche wheel? You know, what are they going to come out with next? They're like could be another BMW. What if they do an incredible BMW equivalent of this for GT3 form factor with a lovely BMW badge in it? That could just change the fortunes of the company overnight.
Yeah.
Because everyone will be like, yeah, that's the GT3 one I want to get. People, you know, Spawny Racing, anyone want to buy a 3-month-old T598? I'm heading for Fanatec. View on hoping for Fanatec podium pedals showcase at the Sim Racing Expo. We're still to be confirmed, but we might both be there. Maybe we can do a live event or something
With Fanatec.
with Fanatec.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you want to see that, and we will try and make it happen. So there are just so many people who've had issues, and we now have this split polarity about Fanatec, and I don't know whether it's possible to actually convert some of these people to being fans. Daniel ordered a new Porsche wheel yesterday. It didn't turn on when I got here. I sent it back, went to the outcome. And then the whole QR2 system.
The QR2 system just
Yeah.
blows my mind how they've managed to do this.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, this one here, I always like this one.
looks
It worked well. And if you were going to use it for a long time, you could bolt it down. It covered all the bases. I don't really see the need of
It looks like they've got themselves into a little bit of a hole there, being some things they couldn't change the actual connectors, so they had to try and make it happen with the materials to make it work at the price. But ultimately, you know, I don't really notice this one when I'm actually driving. It's just the fact that it's confusing for people when it comes to buy, I think is the main issue. But we're going to finish on some optimism. And, you know, if you know me, I'm the person, I would say, in the world who has scrutinised Fanatec the most, literally flying there, seeing the CEO, asking the questions. But there are a lot of reasons recently that show things may be different. So, for example, there's now a 3-year warranty on Fanatec products, which is legitimately insane.
Yeah, that's
a big step.
really, really good.
Yeah.
But then also to do with the waiting times people are having.
Yeah, so on paper it's really good. People will need to, if you have the perception that, oh, it might be away for months at a time. But on paper, that's really good. They're also doing certified refurbished.
And that's what I'm excited about.
With a 2-year warranty, which is really, really, really good. The pricing should be competitive. Maybe some of these products that have been returned, they've been able to isolate the issue and fix it and certify it. That's insane. Full Force has come to iRacing. So Fanatec have been trying to get Full Force on all the games. iRacing's implementing it. If GT7 do it, that's going to be a game changer. That might basically stop the G Pro from being recommended over the Fanatec. And then they are doing things with the QR2 system, like, you know, I think including it for free now. I think when I got this base as a review unit, the QR2 came was separate. I think now it comes as included with the QR2, which makes sense because you're probably buying it with a wheel like this, not an ancient wheel like this maybe. So there are definitely signs with Fanatec that things are improving. There's lots of news now coming. And with Corsair involved, Corsair take the customer service very seriously.
They do, and it's hopefully it's rebuilding people's confidence in the brand, because I think they took such a big hit over the last couple of years. They really need a boost. And like you said, they might just be consolidating, getting all their stuff back in order, know where they are, and hopefully we can see some new stuff.
So, big video. Let us know in the comments, do you love or hate Fanatec? And can your mind be changed?